To be wealthy and honoured in an unjust society is a disgrace. Waukeen is the goddess of wealth and of trade. She is also known as Liberty's Maiden, as the Coin Maiden, Merchant's Friend, the Golden Lady, the Lady of Trade, and the Mistress of Coin. Her domain is the enrichment of society through free and fair trade, despite her tacit support for the shadier sides of commerce. Waukeen appears as a 10-foot-tall slender woman with long golden hair and eyes that appear to be made of solid gold. Her clothes are woven of golden thread and adorned with gemstones, and she wears pearls covering her shoes. Sometimes a pair of golden lions rest at her feet, or when she seeks a more subtle appearance, she may manifest as a sprouting of daffodils, or as a coin lying face up to draw one's eye in the desired direction. At other times, she may appear as a pair of golden eyes shrouded in darkness, or as a winding serpentine stack of living coins. Money or gems left behind by her appearance are considered sacred, containing a part of her godly essence. Waukeen is a relatively young deity, being less than 2,000 years old, and yet the wealth and the success that she has brought to her followers has caused her to become widely popular across Faerun. During the time of troubles in the year 1358, when the gods were banished from the heavens and forced to walk the earth, Waukeen greatly wished to return home. So she made a deal with her friend Lyra, the goddess of joy, to hold on to her divinity, and thus she reduced herself to a mere mortal, albeit a powerful one, so as to bypass the protections placed around the material plane. Next, by calling in favors with various divine beings, the Golden Lady managed to smuggle herself onto the astral plane, whereupon she made contact with an abyssal lord named Grazit, the Prince of Pleasure, bartering for safe passage across the abyss in exchange for the locations of various treasure hoards. Immediately reneging upon the deal, Grazit imprisoned her within his palace in the abyssal realm of Azagrat, hoping to find a way for his own fiendish daughter to supplant Waukeen as the new goddess of wealth. For 12 long years, the Golden Lady was availed of demonic hospitality, while Lyra, keeping true to her promise, administered to Waukeen's church, until a young priestess of Waukeen named Helena Yasha began to experience visions through dreams, which informed her of the goddess's imprisonment. Summoning daring adventurers, she traveled to the abyss and managed to win the Golden Lady's freedom. The celebration of Waukeen's return was bittersweet, however, as many in her church had left her worship, assuming that the Lady of Trade had perished. Waukeen is an active and enthusiastic patron, guiding trade across Faerun as she seeks fair and profitable deals that satisfy all parties. Through the title of Liberty's Maiden, she acts as the invisible hand of the market, seeking for all folk to grow rich through free trade. While her darker side, by the name of the Mistress of Coin, sponsors illicit trade, black marketeers, and the darker side of capital. Her stubborn single-mindedness in achieving a goal will sometimes get her into trouble, but Waukeen has learned not to dwell too much upon failure, but rather to move on quickly to her next money-making venture. Once, the Golden Lady's closest ally was Lyra, but after a swathe of her followers left to join Lyra's faith, their friendship never really fully recovered. She offers support to Gond, the god of craftsmen, for his ability to increase efficiency through his wild inventions, and she works very closely with Shondakol, the god of travelers, to protect her far-flung merchant traders. And while she is largely uninterested in making enemies, Waukeen frequently comes into conflict with Mask, the god of thieves, for his disrespect for the notion of property. Waukeen makes her home in a huge celestial bazaar, known as the Marketplace Eternal, where beings come from across the planes to trade. Her quarter is known as the House of Barter, located at the centre of a realm known as Brightwater, on the plain of Arborea. The other 4 districts of the Grand Market are dedicated to Lyra, to Timora, the goddess of luck, to Sune, the lady of love, and to Shares, the goddess of pleasure. Waukeen's formidable powers allow her to perceive anything within 7 miles of her temples, her shrines, and her worshippers, as well as anywhere her names or titles were spoken within the last hour. She is also aware of any trade deal, any contract, sale, theft, or destruction of a merchant's property that affects 500 people or more. She may spit forth molten gold, or she may summon a fiery column in the midst of a golden tornado of loose coins. And finally, while travelling, she chooses to walk gracefully upon the air itself. Waukeen is a lesser deity, and her true neutral alignment represents her ethical flexibility when it comes to promoting the free market. Her clerics tend to adopt the knowledge or the trickery domains, and she offers them the power to turn and to destroy undead. Her favoured weapon is a streaming cloud of coins that erupt from her hands, which her divine casters, they make use of tally sticks with pegs and holes in to record value, which, when joined by a chain, may be used as a flexible weapon called nunchaku, which follow the rules for a club with the finesse property. Her holy time is the evening, and her casters pray for spells just before sundown by throwing coins into a ritual bowl or into a body of water. Her followers are known as Waukeenar, and they are compelled to encourage free trade and to give money freely to beggars. It is the belief of the Waukeenar that the more money one has, the more wealth they shall return to the market, and thus enrich the lives of all living beings, drawing the world closer to the Golden Age, being the promise of a utopian future that is the dream of all Waukeenar. While those who earn the favour of the church are ceremoniously gifted the Mark of the Lady, an oversized and heavy gold coin worn upon a sash and worth 450 gold pieces. as festivals present a grand way to draw eyes to merchants' wares and to entice travellers to new markets. The Waukeen hold a dedicated festival for every month of the calendar year. On the 15th of Hammer, through the festival of cold counting comfort, they honour the accountants who helped them provision for the winter. While on the 20th of Alturiak, during the festival of Great Weave, they give thanks to the textile workers that clothed them against the cold air. Then, on the 30th of Ches, as spring begins with the festival of High Coin, they celebrate the concept of wealth with grand feasts, with accolades, and with the collection of gifts to be distributed the following month. Then on the 10th of Tarsak comes the Festival of Spheres, where the virtue of generosity is encouraged to draw communities closer, as gifts are distributed amongst celebrants. Then, as spring winds down on the 12th of Myrtle, the Festival of Samadark honours benefactors, whose generosity causes civilization to flourish like the watered seed in the good earth. As joyous summer dawns on the 21st of Kythorn, the Festival of Brightbuckle is dedicated to finery and to the creation of beautiful things, whereupon inspiring speeches and illusory magic seek to attract new followers to the faith. Then comes the 3-day-long festival of Sornan, lasting from the 3rd to the 5th of Flame Rule, celebrating deal-makers, encouraging peace and receiving envoys from afar. On the 17th of Eliasus, as the farmlands flourish, they celebrate Huldark, honouring the bounties of the earth. Then on the 7th of Eliant, in the final weeks of summer before the leaves turn to gold, they hold the festival of Sprindlestar, an awe-inspiring celebration of magic. Then, on the 1st of Marpanoth, as the harvest begins in earnest, they honour the guards who keep them safe while they work, gifting those entering retirement with 10 times their weight in gold. Then, on the 10th of Uktar, the festival of Tantian, look back over all they have built, honouring crafts and craftspeople, whereupon fine works are presented to the church, and the greatest are bought for a high price. Then, once winter falls again, on the 24th day of Nital they commemorate the anniversary of Waukeen's liberation from the Abyss and her return to Toril. And finally, on the very next day, on the 25th of Nital, comes the festival of Orbar, also known as Candle's Feast, where they hold a solemn remembrance to keep in mind the darker side of wealth and the evils of excess. There they pray for the souls of those who have perished, or those who were lost to greed and to avarice. Without a singular head to their order, Waukeen churches are largely independent of one another, and thus her clergy adopt a variety of names. Some go by true traders, others gold palms, and yet others as coin spinners. While those elite few who are personally blessed by the goddess are named Gold Eyes, as her touch turns their eyes the colour of raw gold. Waukeen priests often multiclass as bards or as rogues to increase their trading skills, and they work as wealthy donors, as money lenders, as merchants, merchant guards, warehouses, fencers of illicit goods, and as venture capitalists in addition to their duties to the church. In exchange, they are expected to donate 1/4 of their profits to the church. Their clerical vestments are exorbitantly wealthy, surpassing even some monarchs in splendour, and they are topped off by a scarlet cloak weighed down by decorations, as well as white gloves and a gem-tipped staff. When they first join the church, priests are expected to drag their weight in gold into the temple, whereupon the payment is transformed into gold-flaked holy water, which is added to a bath of spiced wine, into which the new priest is anointed. Novice priests are known as telchar, and above them coin, abriant, counter, trabar, investor, lender, sindo, many coins, grand trabar, spender, grand sindar, and overgold, while the head of a temple is known as the holy coin. They may rise up through the ranks by securing important trade deals, by negotiating and protecting peace, and by working tirelessly towards their promised golden age. The Waukeen faith ranks among the major religions in the wealthy kingdoms surrounding the Sea of Fallen Stars, including Cormia, Sembia, Impelter, the Vast, Chesenta, the Vilhon Reach, and even as far east as Thesk, at the gates of the trading way to distant Karatur. Her worship is also very popular in Waterdeep, in Arm, Narfell, Chondlewood, and in Tashalar, far to the south. Protecting and serving the Temple of Waukeen in Arabar, the capital of Chondath within the Vilhon Reach, is the Order of the Sapphire Crescent, a private army that hires themselves out as a mercenary company. While the most controversial Waukeen sect is a group known as the Harlot's Coin. Denounced by the rest of the faith as heretics, they believe that Waukeen was imprisoned by the demon Grazit as a failure to pay her debts, after she sold her soul to the demon prince, and that those who worship her are in fact following Grazit, a dark practice that the Harlot's Coin heretics embrace wholeheartedly. In my world, the gods have taken a far less active role, no longer interceding in the lives of mortals directly, and therefore, without the direct guidance of a god, only magical thinking could truly believe in the invisible hand of the market. And yet, the notion persists, preserved by the emergent middle class, who see themselves in a perpetual liminal state between the exploited workers and the owning class of the nobility. And thus they suppose that if they continue to dedicate themselves to the market wholeheartedly, it will only be a matter of time until they are promoted to walk among the social elite. Thus they will advocate for the policies that benefit the rich, while at the same time viewing themselves as the hardest working and most deserving in society, a narrative that erases the common labourer. Therefore, this new middling class of moderately affluent merchants and professionals serve as the unwitting tools of the land-owning elite. They are a cudgel that lords and nobles may wield at arm's length to keep the increasingly poor workers underfoot without dirtying their own hands. While at the same time these town and city dwellers form a tantalizing resource for the elite to extract wealth from, no less than any other rural underclass. And thus, the rich keep on getting richer, and their hoarded coin need never re-enter the market, a situation dependent upon the compliance of the merchant class, and that the sleeping majority never awaken to realize that the landowners are dependent upon their productive labor, and not the other way around. The Waukeen follow the following precepts. The golden road to enrichment is the path of mercantilism. The way towards the promised golden age is to raise up civilization and happiness by increasing the prosperity of all. Do not harm commerce by spreading vicious rumors, by placing restrictions upon trade, nor by destroying a merchant's goods. Challenge and disprove unfounded and unproven claims that might harm commerce. The more wealth a person has, the more they spend, making the markets healthy and vibrant. And one should therefore give freely to merchants and to beggars both. To praise Waukeen is to know riches. To take care of your wealth is to honor her. And to share your coin secures your future prosperity. Feel free to call upon Liberty's maiden, and she shall guide you in wise business transactions. And finally, gold comes into the hands of the bold. The opportune shall keep it, and the fearful shall yield it up.